Class starts. JustProfessor here. You believe one thing, but do the opposite. You know smoking is bad, but you smoke anyway. You say you value honesty, but you lie to avoid conflict. You claim to care about the environment, but you drive everywhere and waste constantly. And instead of changing your behavior or admitting you're a hypocrite, your brain just rewrites reality so you can feel okay about yourself. That's not strength. That's your brain protecting you from the truth. This is cognitive dissonance, and it's the reason you're stuck in patterns you know are bad for you while convincing yourself everything's fine. Your brain can't handle holding two conflicting beliefs at the same time. It makes you uncomfortable. So instead of dealing with that discomfort by changing your beliefs or your behavior, your brain just changes how you see reality. It creates excuses, justifications, and mental gymnastics so you can keep doing what you're doing without feeling bad. And that's keeping you trapped. So what is cognitive dissonance? It's the mental discomfort you feel when your actions don't match your beliefs, when what you do contradicts what you think is right, when you hold two ideas that can't both be true. That discomfort is so unbearable that your brain will do anything to make it go away. And the easiest way to make it go away isn't to change your behavior, it's to change your beliefs. Here's a classic example. You buy an expensive phone. Right after you buy it, you see reviews saying it's not that good. Now you're stuck. You believe you make smart purchasing decisions, but you also just spent a lot of money on something that might not be worth it. Those two beliefs create dissonance. So what does your brain do? It starts finding reasons why the phone is actually great. It focuses on positive reviews. It downplays the negatives. It convinces you that you made the right choice. Not because you did, but because admitting you made a mistake is too uncomfortable. Or think about relationships. You're with someone who treats you badly, but you believe you're smart and you make good choices. Those two things don't fit, so your brain creates a narrative. They're not that bad. Everyone has flaws. They'll change. They're under a lot of stress. You make excuses because accepting the truth, that you're in a bad relationship and you need to leave, creates too much dissonance. So you stay, and your brain keeps lying to you so you can avoid the discomfort of admitting you were wrong. Cognitive dissonance shows up everywhere. You say you want to lose weight, but you eat junk food every day. That creates dissonance. So your brain tells you, I'll start tomorrow, or I deserve this, or one meal won't make a difference. Those aren't facts. Those are your brain reducing dissonance by making excuses for behavior that contradicts your goals. You say you care about being productive, but you waste hours on social media. Dissonance. So your brain tells you, I need a break, or I'm networking, or I'll work extra hard later. Again, not true. Just your brain protecting you from the uncomfortable truth that your actions don't match your values. Here's where cognitive dissonance gets really dangerous. It prevents growth. Because growth requires admitting you were wrong, admitting you made mistakes, admitting your current beliefs or behaviors aren't working. But cognitive dissonance makes that almost impossible. Your brain will twist reality, create elaborate justifications, and ignore obvious evidence just to avoid the discomfort of saying, I was wrong. This is why people double down on bad decisions. They invest more time, more money, more energy into something that's clearly not working, because admitting it was a mistake would create massive dissonance. So they keep going, convincing themselves it'll pay off eventually. That's called the sunk cost fallacy, and it's powered by cognitive dissonance. Admitting you wasted time and money is painful, so your brain makes you waste even more time and money to avoid that pain. Cognitive dissonance also explains why people reject information that contradicts their beliefs. You have a political opinion. Someone shows you facts that prove you're wrong. Do you change your mind? Almost never. Because changing your mind means admitting you were wrong, and that creates dissonance. So instead, your brain attacks the source, finds reasons to dismiss the evidence, or just ignores it completely. You protect your beliefs not because they're right, but because changing them is uncomfortable. This happens with conspiracy theories too. Someone believes something crazy. You show them proof it's not true, and instead of accepting it, they believe even harder, because they've invested so much into that belief that abandoning it would create unbearable dissonance. So they double down, find new evidence, and convince themselves everyone else is blind. It's not about truth. It's about avoiding the discomfort of being wrong. Here's another way cognitive dissonance ruins your life. It makes you a hypocrite. You judge other people for doing things you do yourself, but your brain doesn't see the contradiction. When you do it, you have good reasons. When they do it, they're being lazy or selfish or stupid. That's cognitive dissonance letting you hold two contradictory standards at the same time without feeling the discomfort. You say you value hard work, but you cut corners constantly. You say you value loyalty, but you gossip about your friends. You say you value health, but you neglect your body. And every time, your brain creates a justification so you don't have to face the fact that you're not living according to your own values. You're not a bad person. You're just human. But cognitive dissonance is keeping you from becoming a better one. So why does your brain do this? Why would it rather lie than face the truth? Because cognitive dissonance is painful. Genuinely painful. Studies show that holding conflicting beliefs activates the same parts of your brain that process physical pain. Your brain experiences dissonance as a threat. So it does what it always does with threats. It tries to eliminate them. And the easiest way to eliminate dissonance isn't to change your behavior, which is hard. It's to change your beliefs, which your brain can do instantly without any effort. But that easy solution has a massive cost. You stop being honest with yourself. You stop growing. You get stuck in loops where you keep making the same mistakes because your brain won't let you admit they're mistakes. You become the kind of person who can justify anything, believe anything, and ignore anything that makes you uncomfortable. And that's not strength. That's weakness disguised as confidence. So how do you fight cognitive dissonance? How do you stop your brain from lying to you? First, recognize the discomfort. When you feel defensive, when you're making excuses, when you're bending over backwards to justify something, that's cognitive dissonance. That feeling is your signal that your beliefs and actions don't match. Don't run from it. Sit with it. Examine it. Second, be willing to be wrong. This is the hardest part. You have to accept that you make mistakes, that you hold incorrect beliefs, that you sometimes act in ways that contradict your values. That's not a character flaw. That's being human. But you can't fix it if you can't admit it. Third, align your actions with your beliefs, not the other way around. When you notice dissonance, don't change your beliefs to match your bad behavior. Change your behavior to match your good beliefs. If you believe health is important but you eat junk food, don't convince yourself junk food is fine. Just stop eating it. Change the action, not the belief. Fourth, seek out information that challenges you. Most people avoid information that creates dissonance. Do the opposite. Actively look for evidence that contradicts what you believe. If you can't defend your beliefs against real challenges, they're probably not worth holding. And if you're wrong, wouldn't you rather know? And finally, practice saying, "I was wrong," out loud to other people. It feels terrible at first, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And the easier it gets, the less power cognitive dissonance has over you, because you're no longer terrified of being wrong. You're just a person who's learning and adjusting and getting better. Look, cognitive dissonance is one of those biases that makes you feel smart while making you dumb. Because your brain is so good at creating justifications that you genuinely believe them. You think you're being rational, logical, consistent. But you're not. You're just avoiding discomfort. And that avoidance is keeping you stuck in place while the world moves forward. The truth is, you're probably wrong about a lot of things. Your beliefs probably contradict your actions in ways you haven't noticed. You probably make excuses for yourself that you'd never accept from someone else. And cognitive dissonance is hiding all of that from you because your brain thinks protecting your ego is more important than facing reality. But you know what's actually more important than your ego? Growth, change, becoming a better version of yourself. And you can't do any of that while your brain is lying to you about who you are and what you're doing. So next time you feel that discomfort, that urge to justify or excuse or dismiss, stop. Ask yourself what truth you're avoiding, what belief and action don't match, what lie your brain is trying to sell you, because the discomfort isn't the problem. The lie is, and the sooner you face that, the sooner you can actually become the person you think you already are. If this made you uncomfortable because it's true, subscribe.